Chapter 10, Kitty Christmas. Shortly after Dewey's birthday, it was time for what would become his favorite holiday, Christmas. Now, Christmas, you have to understand, was a holiday the town of Spencer celebrated together. The season started with the first weekend in December with the Grand Meander, a walking tour of Grand Avenue. The street was strung with white lights. Christmas music was piped in. Santa Claus came to receive wish lists from the children. Yes, even the bad years, he made it. The whole town was out, laughing and talking, and clutching one another to share the warmth. The stores stayed open late, showing off their holiday selections and offering cookies and hot chocolate to fight off the biting cold. Every storefront window was decorated. We called them living windows because in each one, local residents acted out holiday scenes. The Parker Museum was always created a vision of a pioneer Christmas. Other windows showcased the 1950s, my childhood, with radio flyers and hula hoops. Some had mangers. Others featured toy tractors and cars for a boy's view of Christmas morning, or porcelain dolls for a girl's. On the corner of First Avenue and Fifth Street at the end of the Great Meander Walk, the Festival of Trees, a Christmas tree decorating contest, was held. Since this was Dewey's first Christmas in Spencer, the library had entered a tree under the title, Do We Love Christmas? The tree was decorated with, what else? Pictures of Dewey. It also featured puffy kitten ornaments and garlands of red yarn. The presents under the tree were books like The Cat-a-Log and The Cat in the Hat, tied in neat red bows. There was no official judging, but I think Do We Love Christmas was the winning Christmas tree that year, hands down. But for Dewey, the real celebration began the next day in the library. Every year, on the Monday after the Grand Meander, I took the Christmas tree decorations down from the top shelves of the library storage room. Cynthia Behrens and I always arrived early to set up and decorate the most important part, our big artificial Christmas tree. Cynthia was the hardest worker on staff and eagerly volunteered for every job. But she didn't know what she was getting into, because this year, when we slid the long, thin Christmas tree box off its high shelf, we had company. Dewey's excited this morning, she said. He must like the looks of this box. Or the smell of all those plastic branches. I could see his nose sniffing 90 odors a minute and his mind racing. Could it be? Could it really be? All this time? Could Mom have been hiding the world's largest, most spectacular, most deliciously smelly rubber band? When we started pulling the Christmas tree out of the box, I could almost see Dewey's jaw drop. It's not a rubber band. It's better. As we pulled out each branch, Dewey lunged at it. He wanted to sniff and chew and steal every green piece of plastic sticking out of every green wire branch. Give me that, Dewey, I yelled. He coughed a few plastic tree needles onto the floor. Then he leaped into the box just as Cynthia was pulling out the next branch. Back off, Dewey. Cynthia pulled him out, but a second later, he was back. A green needle stuck to the moist tip of his nose. This time, his whole head disappeared inside the box. This isn't going to work, Dewey. Do you want me to get the rest of the tree out or not? Apparently, the answer was not, because Dewey wasn't moving. All right, Dewey. Out, 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 Cynthia said, pulling on his behind. I'd hate for you to lose an eye. Dewey got the message and jumped back, only to start burrowing under the pile of branches on the floor. "This is going to take all day," Cynthia said. "I sure hope so," I replied. As Cynthia pulled the last branches out of the box, I started to assemble the tree. Dewey was prancing and grinning, watching my every move. He came in for a sniff and a taste, and then bounced back a few feet. The poor cat looked like he was about to explode with excitement. Hurry up, I want my turn." This was the happiest I had seen him all year. "Oh no, Dewey, not again." Oh boy. Dewey had buried himself in the Christmas tree box again. This time he disappeared completely inside, and a few seconds later the box was rolling back and forth across the floor. He stopped, poked his head out, and he looked around. He spotted the half-assembled tree and bolted back to chew on the lower branches. "I think he's found a new toy." "I think he's found a new love," I said as I put the top branches into the notches on the trunk of our tree. It was true. Dewey loved the Christmas tree. He loved the smell of it, the feel of it, the taste of it. Once I had assembled and set up next to the circulation desk, he loved to sit under it. "Mine now," he said as he rounded the base a few times. "Just leave us, thanks." "Sorry, Dewey. Still work to do. We don't even have it decorated yet." Out came the ornaments, new tinsel, angels on strings, Santa Clauses, ribbons, bells, shiny balls with glitter all over them. One minute Dewey was crawling around in the boxes, finding out which ornaments came next. The next minute, he was at our feet, playing with our shoelaces. Then he was stretched into the tree for another whiff of plastic. A few seconds later, he was gone. What's that rustling sound? Suddenly, Dewey came tearing by us with his head caught in one of the plastic grocery bags we used for storage. He ran all the way to the far side of the library, then came careening back toward us. "Catch him!" Dewey dodged and kept running, his head still caught in the bag. Soon he was on his way back. Cynthia blocked the area near the front door. I took the circulation desk. Dewey sprinted right between us. I could see him from the look in his eyes. He was in a frenzy. He had no idea how to get the plastic bag from around his neck. His only thought was, "Keep running, maybe I can lose this monster." Soon there were 4 or 5 of us chasing him, but he wouldn't stop dodging and sprinting away. It didn't help that we were all laughing at him. "Sorry, Dewey, but you've got to admit, this is funny." I finally cornered him, and despite his terrified squirming, managed to free him from the bag. Relieved, Dewey immediately went over to his new best friend, the Christmas tree, and lay down under the branches for a nice comforting tongue bath. There would be a hairball, no doubt, but at least a lesson had been learned. No plastic bags for the dew. The next stop, now that Christmas tree was up, was gifts. Every year, librarians received a few gifts from grateful patrons. Eventually, they made a nice little stack of chocolates and cookies. But our stack was dwarfed by Dewey's enormous pile of balls, treats, and toy mice. There were some fancy toys and even some nice homemade items. But Dewey's favorite new plaything wasn't a gift at all. It was some red yarn he found in a decorating box. That ball of yarn quickly became Dewey's constant companion. He batted it around the library until a few feet of yarn stuck out, which he then pounced on, wrestled, and very soon got wrapped around his body. More than once I was almost run down by an orange cat streaking across the library, red yarn around his legs, and the bundle dragging behind him. An hour later, he'd sacked out under the Christmas tree, all 4 feet, clutching his big red buddy. The library closed for 3 days on Christmas Eve, so Dewey came home with me. We spent Christmas morning together. I didn't give him a present, though. After a year together, our relationship was well beyond token gifts. We didn't have anything to prove. All Dewey wanted from me was a few hours a day of my time. I felt the same way. So that was what we gave each other on our first Christmas and on every one that followed.